world is on the brink of witnessing a groundbreaking achievement in aviation history. The United States military has teamed up with SpaceX on a top-secret hypersonic aircraft project that promises to redefine the limits of air travel. With SpaceX's innovative technology and the military's expertise, this partnership is set to create something once thought impossible. What exactly does this collaboration entail, and how will it change the future of aviation? Join us as we explore the details of the secret hypersonic aircraft that the U.S. military and SpaceX partner up for. The United States Department of Defense is reportedly interested in a bold new partnership with SpaceX, aiming to use the massive Starship rocket for its own high-stakes missions. According to Aviation Week, the Pentagon has proposed flying Starship as a government-owned, government-operated vehicle, giving the military full control over the spacecraft for particularly sensitive or dangerous operations. Currently, SpaceX works with the DoD as a launch service provider, where the company handles the logistics and operation of its rockets. However, this new arrangement would shift that dynamic significantly, allowing the Pentagon to take over the Starship system entirely. This move shows the growing importance of Starship's unique capabilities, such as its ability to carry heavy payloads and potentially perform rapid deployments anywhere on Earth or in space. By owning and operating Starship, the Department of Defense could explore a range of missions, from quick response logistics to advanced space-based operations, underscoring the rocket's potential as a game-changer for national security. This shift also reflects how government agencies are increasingly relying on cutting-edge commercial technology to achieve strategic goals. This is not the first time the United States would partner with SpaceX. In 2023, SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket launched the USSF-52 mission into orbit from Florida's Launch Complex 39A. This mission includes the X-37B, a small space drone about the size of a bus, which resembles NASA's retired space shuttles. On its seventh journey, the X-37B performed advanced tests such as studying radiation effects on materials for NASA and exploring new orbital zones. This marks the first time the X-37B has flown on the powerful Falcon Heavy, capable of carrying massive payloads deep into space. The reusable drone designed by Boeing and Lockheed Martin for the Air Force has been in operation since 2010. It runs on solar power and has previously tested how radiation affects seeds and materials. The launch came shortly after China sent its secretive robotic spaceplane, Shenlong, into orbit for experiments and reusable technology tests, emphasizing peaceful space exploration. But that's not all. The Space Force's mysterious spacecraft is trying out an exciting new trick. The Space Force announced that the spacecraft will attempt a groundbreaking technique called aerobraking. This involves using the drag of Earth's atmosphere to adjust its orbit, saving precious fuel in the process. This announcement is unusual because the movements of such classified spacecraft are typically kept under wraps. By revealing this experiment, the Space Force highlights the impressive capabilities of its high-tech space program, sparking curiosity about what else this secretive craft might be able to do. This is the first time the X-37B, or the Space Force, has tried such a maneuver, showcasing the growing sophistication of space technology. Interestingly, this technique might feel familiar to fans of the 2014 sci-fi movie Interstellar. In the film, Matthew McConaughey's character, Joseph Cooper, uses a similar method to land on a distant planet without burning extra fuel. By attempting aerobraking in real life, the X-37B is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in space exploration, turning science fiction into reality. According to Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall, the Space Force is also breaking new ground with a series of smart and efficient maneuvers, showing its dedication to innovation during critical national security missions. The move is more than just a technical feat. It's a big step toward responsible space operations. The Space Force announced that the importance of using the advanced aerobraking technique is to safely dispose of unnecessary parts from its X-37B spacecraft. Instead of leaving debris in a higher orbit, where it could linger for years and risk colliding with satellites, the team is ensuring everything is disposed of according to strict space debris guidelines. This decision shows the growing global concern about space junk, especially after incidents like Russia's satellite breakup in June, which created over 100 pieces of hazardous debris. Todd Harrison, a space policy expert at the American Enterprise Institute, praised the Space Force's efforts, saying it sets an example for commercial companies, governments, and other nations. Harrison explained that they are showing how responsible space operators should act. Don't litter if you can avoid it. While aerobraking is a common practice for NASA and private companies, this marks the first time the Space Force has attempted it with the X-37B, a top-secret spacecraft it has operated since 2020. Harrison added that this move isn't about taking risks but about gaining confidence in the spacecraft's capabilities and exploring what it can achieve. This bold step by the Space Force to push boundaries and explore new possibilities with the X-37 reflects the same adventurous spirit that has driven pioneers in space exploration. Speaking of trailblazers, few have captured the world's imagination like Elon Musk. So how did his fascination with space exploration begin? During a trip to Russia, Elon Musk was so insulted by the way he was treated that it changed the course of his life. He had gone to negotiate a deal to buy rockets for a planned mission to Mars, where he dreamed of creating a greenhouse called Mars Oasis. However, the dismissive behavior he encountered sparked his determination to compete with Russia instead. Former NASA Deputy Administrator Lori Garver described the moment in her book, comparing it to the legendary story of Helen of Troy. If Helen had a face that launched 1,000 ships, this was the spit that launched 1,000 spaceships. Musk founded SpaceX less than a year later in 2001, turning it into a major player in space exploration. Over the years, SpaceX has become a fierce rival to Russia's Soyuz rocket, solidifying Musk's reputation as a game-changer in the space industry. SpaceX co-founder Jim Cantrell and author Ashley Vance have also highlighted this pivotal moment in documentaries and Musk's biography, showing how one insult fueled Musk's bold vision for the future of space travel. Elon Musk named his first rocket Falcon as a tribute to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Falcon 1, a two-stage rocket designed for orbital launches, cost around $100 million to develop. A year later, SpaceX introduced its second spacecraft, the Dragon, inspired by the song Puff the Magic Dragon. Musk chose the name as a playful nod to skeptics who dismissed his ambitious space plans as fantasy. At the time, SpaceX was one of the few companies daring to build commercial space rockets. Musk, fresh off the success of PayPal's sale to eBay, invested a third of his fortune into the venture by 2006. NASA also supported the company with $278 million through its Commercial Orbital Transportation Services program, while the Department of Defense funded the first 2 Falcon launches. What began as a bold gamble quickly set SpaceX apart as a leader in the new age of space exploration. That same year, SpaceX's first rocket launch ended in failure due to a fuel leak and a fire caused by a corroded fuel line nut damaged by ocean spray. To fix the issue, SpaceX switched from aluminum hardware to stainless steel in its rocket design. Despite the improvement, the next 2 launches also failed. The rockets successfully completed the first stage, but couldn't make it to orbit after stage separation. These setbacks nearly bankrupted SpaceX, putting the entire company on the brink of collapse. At the same time, Elon Musk was struggling to keep Tesla afloat, facing enormous financial pressure. According to Eric Berger's book, Liftoff, Musk was so overwhelmed by stress that he often woke up from nightmares, screaming and in physical pain. These early failures tested Musk and his companies to their limits, but they also laid the foundation for SpaceX's eventual rise as a leader in space exploration. On September 28, 2008, SpaceX made history with the first successful launch of its Falcon 1 rocket from Omelek Island in the Marshall Islands. This marked a groundbreaking moment as it was the first privately funded rocket to reach orbit, breaking the dominance of government-run space programs and proving that private companies could compete in the high-stakes space industry. Interestingly, SpaceX made no major changes to the rocket's design between its third and fourth launches. Instead, they adjusted the timing between the first stage burnout and the second stage separation, addressing the issue that caused the previous failure. In a 2-stage rocket like Falcon 1, the first stage, or booster, provides the initial powerful push before separating, while the second stage takes over to carry the payload into orbit. Elon Musk later reflected on these tense times, admitting in an interview that he messed up the first 3 launches all by himself. The 4th launch was their last chance. If it had failed, SpaceX would have been done. But fate smiled on them that day. The success of the 4th launch was a game changer. It not only saved the company, but also helped SpaceX secure additional funding from NASA and private investors, giving it the financial stability needed to continue innovating. The Falcon 1 rocket, having proved its worth, was retired after its fifth and final launch in 2009, paving the way for more advanced SpaceX rockets like the Falcon 9. This milestone wasn't just a victory for SpaceX, it reshaped the space industry, opening the door for private companies to play a significant role in space exploration. SpaceX has achieved incredible milestones in space exploration, starting with its Dragon 1 spacecraft. In 2012, the Dragon 1 became the first commercial spacecraft to deliver cargo to the International Space Station, a historic moment that led to several more contracts between NASA and SpaceX. Interestingly, Dragon 1 completed 23 cargo missions to the ISS before being retired in 2020. Meanwhile, SpaceX began developing Dragon 2 in 2014, a more advanced version designed to carry both astronauts and cargo, marking another step toward revolutionizing space travel. However, SpaceX's journey wasn't without challenges. In 2015, disaster struck when a Falcon 9 rocket exploded just 2 minutes after liftoff while carrying supplies to the ISS. The cause was traced to a steel strut holding a helium pressure vessel that broke under the launch's intense forces. Another failure occurred in 2016 when a Falcon 9 exploded during a pre-launch static fire test. These setbacks tested the company's resilience and commitment to innovation. SpaceX bounced back later in 2016 with a groundbreaking achievement, successfully recovering the first stage of a Falcon 9 rocket on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. This recovery was more than a technical feat, it was a game changer. Reusing rocket stages reduced SpaceX's cost by about 30% according to Musk. By 2017, SpaceX began offering payload launches on reused rockets at a 10% discount, further proving its ability to innovate while saving costs. In a bold mix of ambition and whimsy, SpaceX launched a cherry red Tesla Roadster into space in 2018. Behind the wheel was Starman, a mannequin dressed in a futuristic SpaceX spacesuit. Musk called it the silliest thing we can imagine for a test payload, and it turned out to be just as iconic as practical. The car is still speeding through space, making it the fastest sports car ever. A dedicated website, whereasroadster.com, tracks its incredible journey. As of December 20, the Roadster was over 200 million miles from Earth, zooming away at an astonishing 6,473 miles per hour. SpaceX didn't stop there. This company achieved a groundbreaking moment in 2020, reigniting human spaceflight from U.S. soil after nearly a decade. On May 30, the Crew Dragon spacecraft, atop a Falcon 9 rocket, carried astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken into orbit. It was the first time humans had flown on a SpaceX rocket and the first U.S. launch of astronauts aboard a new spacecraft since the Space Shuttle's debut in 1981. This milestone was part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, which aimed to develop private spacecraft for crewed missions. Later in 2020, NASA certified SpaceX's Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon system, ending the United States' dependence on Russia's Soyuz rocket for transporting astronauts to the International Space Station. SpaceX's Starship project represents an even grander vision, settling Mars. In May 2021, Starship achieved its first suborbital test flight without exploding, marking a significant step toward Musk's dream of building self-sustaining colonies on the Red Planet. Starship, paired with the Super Heavy booster, is designed to be a fully reusable rocket system. This ambitious design aims to drastically cut space travel costs by a factor of 100 or more, according to Musk. NASA has also selected Starship for its Artemis program, intending to land astronauts on the moon for the first time since 1972. The road to success hasn't been smooth. At SpaceX's Texas facility, early Starship prototypes often met fiery ends, exploding during flight or failing to land safely. But the fifth prototype finally landed intact, proving the feasibility of reusing the rocket's second stage. Now SpaceX is focusing on sending Starship into orbit with the Super Heavy booster. While the date for this monumental test flight remains uncertain, it represents a giant leap toward making Mars colonization a reality. From launching a Tesla into space to building rockets for Mars, SpaceX continues to redefine what humanity can achieve among the stars. SpaceX made another daring leap toward the future of space exploration with the launch of its colossal Starship rocket on Thursday. Powered by the massive Super Heavy booster, the uncrewed rocket lifted off smoothly and soared into the sky, marking an incredible first for the ambitious spacecraft. For nearly 3 minutes, everything appeared to go as planned, with the rocket blazing a trail through the atmosphere. However, things took a turn when Starship was supposed to separate from the booster and continue its journey into orbit. Instead, the rocket began spiraling out of control, leading to a fiery explosion. SpaceX engineer and livestream announcer John Insprucker humorously referred to the incident as a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Despite the outcome, the event was far from a failure for SpaceX. This was the first time the Starship and Super Heavy booster launched together, and even reaching liftoff was a significant achievement. The plan was for the rocket to spend about an hour at orbital altitudes before splashing down in the ocean, but SpaceX engineering manager Kate Tice noted that clearing the launch tower alone was a major milestone. Elon Musk, SpaceX's founder, remained optimistic, calling the launch exciting and congratulating his team. Musk had been upfront about the challenges, stating beforehand that the launch had only a 50% chance of success. Yet the attempt pushed the boundaries of what's possible and provided valuable insights for the next launch. Starship is central to Musk's vision for the future. Designed to carry humans and cargo to the moon, Mars, and beyond, it represents the next frontier in reusable rocketry. With every test, including this one, SpaceX is learning and improving, inching closer to making space travel more accessible and affordable. While the explosion might grab headlines, the bigger story is about determination and innovation. For SpaceX, even setbacks are steps forward on the path to reaching the stars. As Musk and his team gear up for the next attempt, the world watches with anticipation for what's next in this thrilling journey. In September 2021, billionaire Jared Isaacman led a groundbreaking space mission unlike any before. He and 3 other civilians boarded SpaceX's Crew Dragon Resilience, launching atop a Falcon 9 rocket for a 3-day adventure in orbit. This historic flight marked the first time a crewed mission went to space without any professional astronauts. Even more inspiring, the mission had a heartfelt purpose: raising funds and awareness for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. The effort brought in over $243 million, making it a journey of both discovery and generosity. SpaceX, the company behind this incredible mission, has been smashing records for over 20 years. Last year, it set an extraordinary milestone with its Falcon 9 rocket achieving 101 flawless launches in a row, the longest streak for any single rocket type. By October, SpaceX set another record, completing 48 Falcon 9 launches in just 10 months. This streak highlighted SpaceX's reliability and efficiency as it continues to push the limits of space exploration. As one of the most valuable private companies in the world, with a valuation exceeding $100 billion, SpaceX isn't just aiming for the stars, it's reshaping what's possible in spaceflight. Whether inspiring charitable missions or setting records, SpaceX proves that the future of space travel is brighter than ever. Despite his success in space exploration, Elon Musk has been labeled a far-right activist and even called a threat to democracy. Through his ownership of X, he's waded into global political disputes, sparking controversies from Brazil to Australia. He's also filed lawsuits aimed at silencing critics. His involvement in the Russo-Ukrainian war also became a global conversation. His Starlink satellite system, originally provided to Ukraine, has now been widely adopted by Russian forces, significantly improving their communication on the battlefield. While Starlink initially aided Ukrainian troops, Russian units have increasingly acquired the terminals, enhancing their operational coordination. This shift has transformed Russia's combat effectiveness, enabling better communication and more precise coordination. The use of Starlink has notably influenced key battles like the fall of Vuhledar. This development raises concerns about SpaceX's role in preventing enemy access to the system, especially when both sides operate in close proximity. His involvement in politics goes deeper than that. During the 2024 United States presidential race, he publicly backed Donald Trump and supported a key political action committee that aided Trump's re-election. Now he's playing a major role in shaping the next administration, with President-elect Trump appointing him to help lead a Department of Government Efficiency. This advisory group will collaborate with the White House and Congress to streamline and downsize the federal government. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.